Hey everyone, thanks for checking in back over here at the channel. Well, we are going to be spending some time going through the entire Arken Optics optic lineup. Now I'm talking about their hunting specific stuff, their target oriented stuff, and even the digital day-night optics. Now I've got a pile of Arken Optics behind me. I'm going to spend some time going through these. And what has led me to this specific content is the comment section on this YouTube channel. Now, I get a lot of people sending me comments asking me, hey, which Arken do you suggest for this application or this rig? Now, I'm not going to say what I suggest is always the holy grail, the perfect choice, and what is right. But I kind of give an honest, open mind of, hey, I think this is the Arken that would work best for you, would work well for you, and this is all you need. That maybe you don't need the more expensive Arken, that this LH4 will work just fine for you. You don't need the EP5. But hey, with all that out of the way, I've got a pile of Arkens behind me. I want to talk a bit about these things. So if we rewind some, when Arken first came out, when they first hit the scene, Arken offered us two scopes. Made the decision really easy. You had an SH4 to pick from, or you had an EP4. The SH4 was kind of geared for the hunting people with some precision aspects to it. And the EP4 was really more designed for that extra precision, the target shooter. Things have gotten a lot more complex as Arken's lineup has grown, a good thing. But for the guy who's really not familiar with the whole, lineup or precision shooting or optics like this, it can get a bit confusing. So with that, I have one of all the optics sitting up here behind me. I'm going to spend a little bit of time kind of going through these and maybe help some people out answer some of those questions that come flying into the comment section with sort of a hands-on approach of checking these things out. So, hey, let's just get at this. So, I get asked a lot, what is my favorite go-to Arken optic? And without hesitation, that would be this right here. Now I've got a couple of these, and this is pulled off of a rifle that I have one of the digital day optics on right now, but this is the Arken Optics EP8 Now going through, why do I like this optic so much? Well, I am a recreational target shooter. I'm not competing anything like that right now. I'm just out shooting with the guys, and I'm at the range seeing if I can shoot the best I can. More so, I'm spending time deer hunting. So I do some hunting out west where I do some longer range shooting, but here in Michigan I do some medium range to short range shooting at whitetail deer. EP8 is a great optic for that. This is a light that or an optic that is fairly lightweight. It's not just massive and cumbersome when mounted up on your firearm, and we've got the aspects of the precision shooting, so I can dial in my elevation solutions. I've got a choice of reticles, so I can go with my hunting reticle or my precision reticle if I want. And I get all the other features that I get with a lot of the other Arken optics, but in a slimmed down package. Now this thing is not slimmed down to the extent that it is tailored for just hunting, or it's not massive that it's set up for, really cranking in your precision shot. So we've got the cap here for our windage. So the EP8 is without a doubt my go-to optic. If you guys are asking me questions, I can tell you more. The glass, I think, is really well on this. I think it is plenty for taking as far shots as you would probably humanely take on game. EP8, this is the optic that I think is the head turner for Arken Optics. Going through some of these other ones here, the other optic that I found that I really liked when this thing came out here, it's the LH. So this here is the LH optic. This is the LH4. This is the long range hunter optic. Now this is the simple optic. This is the one without any turrets that are exposed. We've got caps on them all. We've got a smaller tube on this thing. We've got the 30mm tube on this, just like the EP8. And again, this is an optic that you can get with different reticles. You can get this in mil or MOA, like all the Arkens, but this is the LH4. This is an optic, even though this may look like this is up on, an AR that you'd be using, for out doing some stuff at the range. This is a 450 Bushmaster that I use for close range whitetail deer hunting. And if I hold this up with this EPL4 for you guys, you can see there's not a huge difference with that EPL4. It's not much different other than looking at that top turret right there. So this is the LH4. This is a great optic. The jury is still out on the glass on this. There's not a lot of people kind of commenting, is the glass adequate for long-range shooting? Now, this is Arken's entry-level coating glass. So this is their Chinese glass on this. It doesn't have as many of the fancy coatings as they say on it. But what I have found is taking this out to the range and, you know, out to distances of 600 yards, I'm finding the clarity is just fine, again, for hunting applications. Now, would it be really good if you were at the range and you're trying to make bug holes? There's better options for doing that. But again, this is the LH4 optic, lightweight, hunting design, and I think this is a real popular one that a lot of people really have been waiting for Arken to come out with this thing. I was excited to get mine. The hang up on these has been getting your hands on these. The MOA versions, I believe, have been really held up, and they're just finally shipping out. It's the end of May 2024 right now, in case somebody's watching this in years from now. But the LH4 has been hard to get your hands on. I've been fortunate to get this because I shoot mill, and these have been more available, but I really like the LH line. I think the glass is plenty. They have the same tracking guarantee, same warranty and everything that they all have. So I put this one down. Well, let's go to a completely different end here, and EP8. Now, this one came out. Now, again, let me backtrack a bit. Hey, I want a hunting optic to put on an AR platform. EP8's what I ordered. EP8's what I took off of that 450 Bushmaster. Now, this is a great optic. Now, I had some criticisms of this, just like a lot of people did over the reticle selection on this, the KL box on this. It takes some time to get used to, but after you spend some time shooting with this, playing around, and just getting familiar with it, it simply works. It is actually a great reticle once you're used to looking at that thing. So this is the EP8. Now, this is what Arken offers as their LPVO right now. It is a first focal plane optic, and this is a MOA version. It is the only MOA optic in my Arken lineup, and that's fine. I'm not dialing in solutions, and really, as far as the holdovers on this thing, trying to pull that bikini off so you guys can check it out. For me, it didn't matter as much if it was mill or MOA. It's other than zeroing this thing, because I'm just holding over with a KL box. But this is 34 millimeter tube on this. It's got some beef to it. It's a little bit of weight to it. I've got it mounted up on this 5.56 right here, and it's not overly cumbersome. It has Arken's rigid mount on it. And if you are the person who is looking to put an LPVO optic, I think this is a great choice. It's something definitely to check out. Are there better ones out there? Yeah. Are there cheaper ones out there? Definitely. For the price, the glass, the quality, the warranty that this thing comes with, I think this is a great selection, though. There are guys that are having a lot of luck hunting with this, and after having some more time behind it, I think I could put this back on one of the guns and hunt with it for sure. But right now, I'm going to leave it on this thing. I like using this thing in more tactical kind of shooting at the range and stuff. But here we go. This is the EP8. So if you're looking for the hunting scope, I think the other two that I was just talking about might be your first choice. But this will come in there if you're looking for some close range shooting. So here we go. This is the EP8. Moving on from this one, SH4 J. So we're throwing that J in there. So the SH4 lineup, this has been the lineup that's been Arken's, you know, they're more affordable precision lineup for target shooting, and this is the scope that I have a lot of. I mean, I have more than, I really don't even want to say, but I've got a good dozen SH4s. I think this has been the optic that, for me, the price, the value, and what you get with an SH4, and now with the SH4J, is it's their home run as far as that goes. There are a lot of features. You have the 34 millimeter tube. Now you have the J. You have the Japanese coated, the Japanese glass on this. Now, my caveat on that is I have only been shooting the J model in kind of good, clear conditions. I haven't had one out on a foggy day. I haven't had one out with the dusk or dawn or anything compared to the regular SH4. But when I did take this out side by side with my SH4, I really could not even tell the difference. Now, I don't want to go as far as to say there is not a difference, because again, this was ideal conditions where good glass will typically separate itself when you start getting some environmental factors and there are some longer range and stuff like that. But at this point, the SH4J, it is claimed to be better glass, and it probably is. But for a person who's shooting, a lot of guys are putting these on the rimfire rifles. They're only shooting out to a couple hundred yards. I really am not sure if you'd benefit from the J over the standard model. There is some talk of maybe the standard SH4 just going by the wayside and they only offering the J. Only time will tell. But the SH4J, this is 34mm optic. Now these come in different choices of the reticle. These come in different choices of magnifications. The one I have here is the 6-24 by 50. And I tend to run this on my 22s, and my eyes are getting a little older, and I'm trying to tighten up my groups. That higher magnification allows me to do so. Hey, here we go. This is the SH4 and the SH4J. And this is, again, this is that precision line that you can use this thing for hunting. I have it on a lot of my hunting optics because this is what was available before the LH came out and the EPL4. I think there's a lot of guys running around with these, same situation. And then moving on from this thing, the top dog in that precision lineup, we have the EP5. So this is an EP5. It is all set up with the sunshade on it. This is a 5-25 by 56. And this is the optic that has kind of got Arken all the chatter, all the talk. Is this thing any good? Is it what they say it is? Is it what I say it is? This is the optic that kind of put my channel really out there and starting things out and doing content with this optic and comparing this to optics that cost 2, 3, 4 times as much money, really stirring the kettle and getting people worked up. I do still stand behind this optic will shoot side by side anything that you have out there. I don't think that this would hold you back in your accuracy. Now, are there aspects of the optics that cost $3,000 and $4,000 and $5,000 and more that are better than this EP5? Definitely, yes, there are. But they also cost thousands of dollars. This optic that is, we're talking $500. Let's just say $500 in general. We got a $500 optic here that I am a firm believer with it on a custom-built top-line rifle. What I'm dealing with this Badger is not holding the rifle back in any way. Could you possibly have a picture that is maybe a little clearer or a little better feel here or there on a different optic? Sure. Is it going to make you any more accurate? I don't believe so. I believe the EP5, as with a lot of people who are reviewing, say this thing is a huge amount of optic for the money. It's classified as a budget optic because the cost of the thing. I put that question out there a lot, that, hey, if Arken had marketed this thing for $2,500, would people still call it a budget optic? I don't think so. I think it's called that because of the cost that it's coming in at. But this is a 34mm optic. This thing has tons of adjustment, huge turrets, and that right there, that is what a lot of people rant and rave about with this EP5. And those turrets, they're just bam, bam, they're just in there. If you are target shooting, you want Arken's premium scope over that SH4J, EP5 is the one that you want to go with. Now, these all have illumination on them. They all have the parallax adjustment. They all come with sunshades. They all come with the same warranty. The accessories that you can get for them, the bubbles and the adjuster levers here, all those things are the same. So we're only talking about the scopes themselves, even these guys. And there's a ton of talk about the caps. People having problems with those things falling right off. I've got some content on that and how to keep that from happening. But here it is. This is your EP5, and this is my go-to as far as when I really want to trust that I'm going to have my optimal clarity. Now, I've got a lot of rifles. I've got 3 EP5s right now, and I have probably 4 to 5 times as many SH4s. If that tells you something, I enjoy these optics. I believe in these ones, but I do still stand behind the fact that I think you're splitting hairs under most conditions between this optic and a SH4 or SH4 J as far as clarity of the glass. I think that optic does quite well. This is got you a little bit. Definitely when you get farther and farther out there, the EP5 is going to be your go-to with that. So here we go. This is the EP5. Now moving on from this, this was just your standard SH4 non-J model here. Now this is a 4:16 by 50 versus the higher magnification one. You can see it's a little bit more compact on here looking. And this is also mounted up. So here we got this mounted up on an AR. This is the non-J model. You wouldn't know it if I covered it up and you couldn't see there's no J on there. So real quick, this is the SH4 Gen 2. So I've got a lot of these. I really like them. They're heavy, but they're not just overly going to do it unless you're putting it on a rifle that's already heavy and you just keep stacking weight up on that thing. Now I can't forget this one. This was the OG. This is the SH4 Gen 1. Now, if you can still find one of these things, I've got a couple of these and I will not get rid of them. These are sort of, if we went back in time a little bit, this is sort of like the LH4. This is a hunting optic. This is an optic that is slimmed down. No illumination on this thing. I've got parallax adjustment. I got 2 turrets that are sticking out on it, but they're not huge like on the SH4 Gen 2. This is about like an EPL4 on both your windage and your elevation here. But this is the SH4 Gen 1, same warranty. But if you got one of these and you break it, I got a feeling they're not going to send you another one of these. You're going to have a Gen 2. But this is the SH4 Gen 1. This is kind of what started it all with Arken for me. I was really impressed with this exact optic right here, which led to the EP4. That is the one I don't have right now as an EP4. The EP4s had a really fine reticle. I couldn't see it real well. Sold my EP4s. Moving on now. Digital day-night optics. My other one, I have the rangefinder model of this, and this is the non-rangefinder model of the Zulus. This is a huge hit. These things, they kind of took me for a surprise. I didn't expect Arken to come out with something like this. The whole way this came about, I'm sure you can go through digital media and Google and find somebody who will tell you the story. But regardless, a digital day-night optic, that is, if I get this guy off of here, this is really impressive how small these things are and how affordable. So they offer 2 models. You've got your laser rangefinder model and your model like this that does not have that. Now, who needs what? Do I need that digital rangefinder? You know, if you're putting this thing on a hunting gun or something that you know the distance of where you're shooting out of a shack or some lanes or something, a flat shooting rifle, you're probably not going to be even using that ballistic application or the rangefinder. I really would recommend just getting the base model. But if you're that person that you are maybe going to move this thing around to different platforms or as far as rigs and firearms, or if you're going to be hunting different places, different distances, unknown distances, definitely the laser rangefinder model would be the way to go. I've had fun with it. I'm having some success with it. I'm enjoying the ability to record the shots. I'm really hoping to get some deer shots on that thing coming in the upcoming weeks here with the Zulus. The night optic on this is tremendous. This thing is infrared and it works great. I have found that this extra little rail that you got on the side here comes in handy if you want to hook another illuminator on that thing and just make the world glow. You can do that with this. But the illuminator that's on it does seem to work plenty fine. I've had a lot of compliments on this when I've had this thing out at the range, even in the daytime, people coming up, checking it out. Simple to use, easy to set this thing up. And a great thing about this is, and I've talked about this in some of my other content, is these are digital optics or digital devices. If you don't use them, oftentimes you kind of forget what's going on. How do I set this thing up? How do I even power it on? How long is it going to last? This is very intuitive. This optic does not take you long to get back up to speed when you haven't used it for a while. So this here is the Zulus. So there you have it. That is just about a full line of the Arken optics. Aside from the differences in magnifications, the differences in reticles that you can choose from the VPR, the VHR, and I do have some content out that I talk about those. The VP, that P is precision if you are shopping. The VH is hunting. So the hunting optic, it does not have that full Christmas tree on there. There's a little bit more room to see what's going on when you're shooting at that animal. So P is for precision when you're shopping. The H is for hunting. I get people asking, which reticle should I get? People are often also saying, hey, I am putting it on this one, this rifle for this use. What should I have, mil or MOA? Not going to get into that with this, but if you are in the United States and you're getting just into this and you're new to this and you're not going to be doing this a whole lot, I'm going to say go MOA. It's probably going to click better with the math systems that you grew up with in school. Aside from that, your choices are magnification. Now, most of these Arken optics will come with a couple options. You can go with the higher magnification, which has often got a bigger, I got the wrong scope in my hand, but it'll have a bigger piece of glass on the front end, or the lower magnification. You can check and decide, talk it up, go onto the chat rooms and stuff like that and see what guys are running. Or how are your eyes? How far are you shooting? Do you really need the bigger magnification? So hey, there you have it. That was quick, that was short. Go ahead, hit the comments up, ask me more questions. I will help you out with what I can. I have a pile of these optics. I have a pile of experience and time behind all of them, using them and abusing them, just putting them through their paces. I can tell you the pros, the cons, the things that I really like about them, and some of the hang-ups that I have with a few of them. But as you can tell, as many as I have, I am really impressed with them, and I like what they're offering. The price is great, the warranty is great, and I think the products themselves have really a great feature set. So hey, there it is. This was unscripted. This was unset up. This was just a pile of Arken optics and kind of going through these things, talking about which ones you might find are best for you if you're a hunter, a target shooter, or you're really just trying to decide, hey, do I need this kind of glass, that kind of glass, this much magnification, or whatever. So hey, with that said, get on out there and keep on shooting.